afternoon, everybody. Welcome in on a Football Friday on September the 1st. We're ready to kick it off, and you're ready to go for tomorrow's game. That's why you are here to listen, to participate, to engage in a little Michigan football talk, and that is exactly why we are here. And it's great to be with you, and I'm guessing you're doing pretty good because we sit around counting down the days until tomorrow, and it is finally here. The vibes are incredible, valiant, very good, however you want to look at it. It's a beautiful day today. It's going to be great tomorrow. I love getting up early on the opening weekend of college football. It's kind of like your birthday and Christmas all at once, and even better if you're going to the game, but it ain't that bad, getting ready to watch it, especially when it's a 12 o'clock start, because that thing is happening pretty fast. So we'll talk about Michigan today, as you might expect. We'll give you the latest on what's going on with the Maize and Blue. I'll tell you what I expect. Want to hear what you expect, what you're looking for, all those kind of things. We'll look at the opening weekend of college football. We did have week 0 last week, but we had a couple games last night, even though I was all set up. I'm jealous of you folks that are able to have those TV systems where you just sit down and you got like 2 gigantic TVs or 1 gigantic TV, and it breaks off and you can watch a bunch of different ones. I have a TV, but then I take my computer down and set it up next to my TV if there are, multiple games on. And I got the main one and I got a little one over to the side. It's not the greatest setup in the world, but it's not bad. So I had it for the first time all year, ready to go. And I didn't think my computer was working. Right at 8 o'clock, I'm ready to watch Utah and Florida, and it's not going. And I'm like, man, what's going on? I'm like, what's the technology here? I've got it rolling. I'm good to go. Well, Spectrum had, they went dark with ESPN, then after 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, here they are. They're running some graphic about how, they're in a fight with Disney. So I was not able to watch that game. If I was last night was like the kickoff for me of watching games, and so I had, but luckily there was one. If the only game last night was Florida and Utah, and that's the one I was ready for, planned my entire day around, and I sat down at 7:59. I mean, like, I'm ready. Boom, 8 o'clock. And if it would not have worked, that would not have been a good deal. Well, I can hear my assistant producer barking in the background. That's never good news on a day like today, where we're just getting started here. I got to tell you, you're going to have to wait a couple of minutes. We'll see how that goes. Richard is ready. Richard, all year long, for people that might be just joining us for the first time, Richard has been on the 15-0. He's not really making prediction on the games, not really making predictions on touchdowns. He's just looking towards the end, and he is saying 15-0 for Michigan. And, I know he's ready, and so am I. He was ready, an hour before the show, getting things and ready to go. Let's see what Kevin, who's joining us here live on the instant feedback. He is out of work early, means he can catch the show live again. Great show. Already great show. We're just a couple minutes in. It's going to be a great weekend. It is going to be a great weekend. Sunday, the menu of games, you get Michigan State. They played the Friday game. It's not bad. Little warm-up JV game, if you will. Tonight, Eastern before that, if you have ESPN Plus and you want to watch that, you can check that out. And then, Sunday is LSU and Florida State. Could be the best game, like most competitive game. Best game is Michigan. So there you go. I thought he was saying smash that subscribe button, smash that like button. But yeah, he is, Richard, saying smash these guys. He's just excited. So is, JP. And you understand that. I hear you're just going to have to wait a couple minutes. How's that going to go for you? We'll see how that ends up working for you. Matthew is feeling great. He's ready for tomorrow. Louie's ready for tomorrow. Count 22 has been ready for he has been the most ready for everyone. Michael is always ready. He's good to go. We got our first prediction coming in 47-10. I'm pretty close to that. I said earlier in the week 52-9, and I have stayed with it 52-9. Go use, go ahead. Use the auxiliary. Use the auxiliary bathroom down there if you want. I don't know if that's going to work well for him or not. I do want to tell you what is going to work well for you is, a little tease on a couple of things I want to say. The Maize and Blue review is working good for you. Now is the time, up to date on everything you could possibly want. And go to michigan.rivals.com and check that out for the entire season. You get in and the latest in recruiting and everything that is going on with Michigan. I just wanted to put a couple of things down, a couple of things that I'm looking for. I jotted a couple of them down and put them up on the screen. This is new this week. People that have been watching the show this summer, or really over the last year or so, will know that Roman Wilson is if I can only pick one player, it's hard to do. I pick Roman Wilson, and it just so happens that he has picked the best number in all of Michigan football history. He is a wide receiver, and he is wearing the cherished number 1, which we found out this week. Maybe it was a couple days before that, last week or something, but Roman Wilson deserves the 1. I think he will bring honor to the 1. I'm really looking forward to it. There's only one AC, and I love Derek Alexander and David Terrell and Braylon. He deserved the 1 and backed it up when he put it on. I believe that Roman Wilson, when he will pull alongside with the other great, hard to pull alongside Anthony Carter, but he'll pull along with the pull up to those other number 1s. The number 1 in Roman Wilson. Now, number 2, and there, Roman Wilson started the hype train out this off season, and it continues to roll in, and it's pulling into Ann Arbor, and it's going to be ready to go for tomorrow. Now, I put what I'm looking forward to seeing the most. You could say you've been saying all year long it's been Blake Corum that you've been looking forward to the most, which is true. But the play on numbers, I had it just written, and I'm like, why wouldn't I put the number 1 where Roman Wilson is wearing the number 1? And Corum, even though I said I'm looking forward to seeing him the most and being the old Blake Corum, well, he's number 2. So you'll allow me that little switcheroo because it works well, at least in my head. Roman's ready, and the Savage, Blake Corum, he just doesn't want, like people say, he's a dog. It's a very affectionate term if you're a football player or a basketball player. I don't know, like maybe other sports too. You want to be a dog. And Blake Corum took it to another level. You want to be a savage dog. He had a dog named Savage, I believe, and Savage would roll around the yard, patrolling it. And Corum has urged the rest of this Michigan team to be savages. And I just want to say, however long you've been watching football, I understand that, people get really nervous about upcoming games. And when there's somebody that's injured, people are like, oh my God, Harbaugh's working him too hard, or why, Harbaugh's not even going to be at the game. You're so nervous about everything. Like what I would say here, and I understand that there are times to be nervous about a team, but this team, led by Blake Corum, you don't have to worry about this team not being prepared and being ready with Corum as the captain. You don't have to go any further than that. So, I really I get everybody. Sometimes you got to just position yourself like, well, you never remember Happy State, whatever you want to do. Sometimes you got to do it just in case, so you can come up and say, I told you everybody was a little bit overconfident. The hell with that. I think you need to bring your fandom to a championship level. Expect the best this year, and just tell yourself when you wake up in the morning tomorrow, this is the beginning of a great campaign. Michigan has the best chance in a hell of a long time to do everything that you want. They have a chance to win it all. They have a chance to smash this entire thing and this for be the banner year, for this to be a banner year. So yeah, you can start talking about injuries and I'm a little bit, I wouldn't worry about any of that. Now, that's me. I would say change your attitude, get your mindset in one that is in the present, where you think about 2023 and what Michigan football can do for you. Now, that's where I'm at when it comes down to it. But I get, everybody's got to be and, roll a little bit different. And, I always got something that's going on. All right. Uh, Wolverine fan feels for Nebraska fans. Well, like Nebraska fans, they go to their stadium. There's nothing to do in Lincoln. I've never been out, to Nebraska. There's nothing to do in Lincoln and what it looks like, except go to football games. And, I found out this week, volleyball games, go to a volleyball game and just go to the stadium and have a lot of fun. And it is a reminder because 30 years ago, Michigan and Nebraska, they're like one and the same, like that 97. There they are. They had to share the championship. And Nebraska football was at the very top, and it can show you what can happen if you go over a cliff like Nebraska has. But, Nebraska and Minnesota, both of those games, the first two games on the road for Michigan this year. And so, yeah, taking in that game and, it was the start of the season and I didn't have the auxiliary game or the other game to watch. So I just had to, go in on Joel Klatt, and it was a pretty boring. It was a start, but it was a pretty boring game. And I was looking at it and thinking, Michigan is going to, it's like you get it. I was just telling everybody, don't be scared, but going on the road in the conference, that's tough. I don't feel like it's going to be as tough as I thought at this time yesterday. Matthew is excited to see Keon Sabb in the secondary. Matthew, you're on top of it. So am I. I just answered that question about Nebraska and Minnesota. I don't make much of either. Now, they're openers, and, you get a new coach on one side in Rule. Minnesota's offense did not look that challenging. Like I think Michigan's defense will be okay. Andres, am I fired up? Yes, sir. I am fired up. I am ready to go. Okay. I see. Yeah, I wish everybody could see. Let me see if I can get the executive producer who's right here. Maybe you can. Maybe you just see him. You want to? No, tell them you want to come on the screen. He's smart, but maybe not that smart. 5 sacks for Michigan tomorrow. Well, that would be less. That would be 2 less than they had last year. Remember, 7 sacks, 11 TFLs with Michigan's 51-7 victory last year against Colorado State. So it wouldn't be as impressive of an opener if we're going to be splitting some hairs and things like that. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we all hear you. The show's going to the dogs a little bit. That's it. What else am I looking forward to? Well, I will tell you. But first, I want to tell you that this Thursday, if you are in and around Northville, you should stop out at the Northville Winery and Brewery. Okay. Reno's hot dog stand and catering. Check it out and tell them Good Afternoon Michigan Football sent you. That's the way to go. All right. So the new number 1, Blake Corum, the Savage. And here's the third thing that I want to emphasize to everyone. This is a championship team. How do they look tomorrow? What's the 2 deep look for like? That's what I am interested in. That is what I am going to be looking at. Andres, Roman's going to go off. Wilson is the new Carter. I love it. So that's where I'm at. Now, I do want to get to one more thing for you here. And, the show is going to the dogs a little bit. If you've been watching the show all year long, There have been a few times, and I don't see him here on the chat, at least yet. Antoine, who's, he loves Michigan. He likes Michigan recruiting. He follows it. And then he says that there's just one little thing. He wants to see Michigan with more complex route trees, choice routes, and things like that. Well, on Wednesday this week, I asked Michigan wide receiver coach Ron Bellamy how Michigan's route trees and route concepts compare to others in college football. And here is what the coach had to say.
I'd say we're very similar to other teams, very similar to, for us, having more of a pro style, offense in the sense that you're using your, receivers, tight ends, running backs. We run the same route trees, route concepts that you do on Sundays, at the NFL level. You do it, we run the same concepts that teams who spread offenses run. So I don't think it varies much. Maybe, what personnel you're doing it out of, but for the most part, we're doing what everyone else is doing.
All right, so that's Ron Bellamy. Now you could say, well, I don't believe him, Mark. That's it. But that was the question, and that is how the Michigan wide receivers coach answered it. So we're always good there. 22 saying a few injuries won't hurt the amount of pressure the D-line's getting. Yeah, look, you're going to have some injuries. I would say that if you're worried about the injuries, I would say, look, you always have these, and you get this, you have the schedule, and you look at the depth. Now, I've got my dog who needs to go outside, so I want to tell everybody I will see you a little bit later on Sharpening the Edge. We'll make some picks, and then tomorrow after the game. So we will see you then. Everybody enjoy the game tomorrow. Until then, bye.